Can you hear me now? Let me know. So weird. I don't know why the sound wouldn't work. Okay, here we go. So bizarre. I said so many great things while I was muted. Man, but all I did was welcome you to my Friday live stream. Good that we got that worked out quickly. Thank you for joining. If you're new here, I do this every Friday. I actually may do another one because I really like doing these. I may try to do another one every week, so we'll figure it out. But I answer any and all questions that come through in the chat. I want to make a pitch because we've gotten a lot more people lately signing up to be members of my Diamond Club, which is my paid tier on YouTube. It's $6.99 a month. I'm offering a bunch of cool stuff there. So I, in addition to everything that I do on my regular channel that you get if you're just a subscriber, you also would get, if you're a member of the Diamond Club, you would get a video every Monday, sometimes Tuesday, me and Chuck Todd talking politics, about an hour, usually 45 minutes to an hour, every Monday or Tuesday. And then every Friday, you will get my video picking the person, place, or thing who had the worst week in Washington. Now, that video has not gone live yet for this week. So if you want to get that video this week, become a member of the Diamond Club on this live stream, because I will make the video right after I get off this live stream. If you want to become a member, go to the membership tab, $6.99 a month. Would love to have you. If you don't want to be a member, you just want to be a subscriber, hit subscribe. Do me a favor, hit thumbs up on this. You want to check out my stuff over at Substack, which is where I do most of my written work. Just type my name, Chris Cillizza, and Substack in. You also can donate. People do this. If you want to donate through the super chat function here, awesome. If you do donate, I'll bump your question up to the top, make sure it gets answered. But trust me, I will get to lots and lots of answers and questions. And thank you all for telling me that I was muted. All right, here we go. Sam, Chris, you have a big birthday coming up. Any plans? I was going to get you tickets to the Trump Kennedy Center, but well, that is true. So my birthday is 2 weeks from today, February 20th. I will be the big 5-0. That is right. I know you think, Chris, you look like you're 22. I totally get it. I know I have the hairline of a 22-year-old man, a balding 22-year-old man. But yes, I will be 50 2 weeks from today. No big plans yet. I did go to the Washington Capitals game last night, and I got this Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi bobblehead, Alexander Ovechkin. Got that. So got that going for me, which is nice. But yes, I am going to turn 50. Yeah, man. Expect a angst-ridden video and or post about it. Sherry Zimmerman. Okay, Chris, last chance. Seahawks or New England? Seahawks. I like the Darnold story. I want Sam Darnold to succeed. Mark Scott. I get the politics of Trump being Trump and solving problems through elections, but is there really truly no line Trump can cross without any consequence? What does it say about our country? So Mark, I would say that everybody has a line, at least most people do. It's a different line, but I would note, like, look, I actually think that what happened over the last couple of weeks in Minneapolis is a line for a lot of people. I mean, there is a reason that Donald Trump absolutely reversed course. They got rid of Greg Bovino. They sidelined Kristi Noem. They put Tom Homan in. They are pulling 700 federal immigration officials out of the state. Like, that's a pretty big turnaround for Donald Trump. And I think the reason for that is that what we saw between Renee Good, Alex Preddy, their deaths, as well as the kind of like rough stuff treatment of a lot of the protesters and people they were arresting, didn't sit well with people. It did cross the line, even for people who, I think, if you ask them, do you think people who are here illegally should be deported? I think even a lot of those people were like, yeah, this is too much. So yeah, I mean, I do think there is a line. You're right. I mean, I think Trump is right. Elections decide these things, right? That we have an election in, 9 months, and we'll get some answers there. That's how we litigate these things in this country, and I'm thankful for that. Antonino, do you think it's fair to say that whichever party wins the Texas Senate race will win the Senate majority? Yeah, I think that's broadly fair. I mean, I think that, look, could I see Democrats winning the Texas Senate race and still not being the majority? Yes. But I think it's unlikely, right? I mean, I think if Texas is in a place where Democrats could win, it means the national political environment, the wind is blowing really hard behind Democrats and in Republicans' face, which would mean Ohio is competitive with Sherrod Brown, Iowa is competitive, Alaska is competitive, right? And they would have won Maine and North Carolina and not lost Georgia or Michigan or New Hampshire. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably broadly true. Patrick Murray, Chris, do you think Trump will try and replace John Thune as majority leader after Thune dismissed Trump's nationalized election proposal? No, because I don't think first of all, I think Donald Trump broadly likes John Thune. Second of all, like, it would be really hard. Again, the leader votes in the Senate and the House are votes among the people in the conference, right? It's not, Donald Trump has no say. Now, he can lean on people, but I don't think there's that many votes for a Donald Trump acolyte as Senate leader. Look at how many votes Rick Scott got when he ran against McConnell for leader. It was like 15 or 20. I don't think he could do that. And again, I think Trump just threw the nationalized, we can talk more about this, but I think Trump just kind of threw the nationalized election thing out there. I don't think there was any plan or theory of the case behind it. I think he just did it. So I don't even think he really believes it. Rich Reviews, always kind. Thank you for your donation. I should have said this at the top. If you become a member of the Diamond Club, if you donate to me through Super Chat, if you subscribe, become a paid subscriber of my Substack, it all goes to me and my ability to continue to do this work. There's no holding company. It's not 30 cents of your dollar goes here and 60 cents goes here and 10 cents goes to, no, it all goes to me to do this work. So if you are like Rich and you want to support my ability to do this work, make a donation. Thank you. Rich says, did you watch the Royal Rumble? Thoughts on the winners? Would be amazed to learn the main roster baseline salary in WWE is $350,000 a year. I didn't watch the Royal Rumble. This week has been a lot, and I didn't get caught up on it. And the roster, so the baseline, so is that the lowest salary or the average salary is $350,000? I mean, look, it is an incredibly lucrative endeavor. I would assume the Roman Reigns types make millions of dollars a year. Like, I'm not surprised really at that. But Rich, thank you for your donation. Matt Davidson, who is a member already of the Diamond Club. Chris, I'm getting increasingly nervous that the Democrats are becoming overconfident about the midterms, especially since we never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Can you talk me down? Matt, honestly, like, I'm not sure Democrats have to do much of anything to win the House back. The reality of how these midterms work with an unpopular president in the White House and his party in control is it's just a referendum on him, right? So it's like all Democrats have to do is present themselves as a mildly credible alternative to Donald Trump and the Republican Party in the midterms. Now, in a 2028 general election, it's a different thing. You have to sort of like actually be for things. But in this, I think it's almost unscrew-upable. I would say things like abolish ICE and that kind of stuff. If you push a lot of that, that's possibly screwing it up. But I even if they're overconfident, I think the nature of a midterm election with an unpopular president means that Democrats are probably going to do pretty well. Rich Roma, Rich, thank you for your donation. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. Rich says, if John Cornyn loses his primary, will we see him speak out against Trump for the rest of his term, sort of like MTG did? Probably, yeah. So Cornyn is running in a three-way primary on March 3rd against Ken Paxton, the state attorney general, and Wesley Hunt, a member of Congress. I think there's going to be a runoff, and I think Cornyn will make it to that runoff. I think he'll be one of the two people in that runoff. If that's the case, he loses the runoff, which I think is most likely. I still think Ken Paxton's the most likely nominee. I could totally see him spending the last 8 months of his term being a critic of Donald Trump, like McConnell, once McConnell announced he was retiring. Look, John Cornyn is not a MAGA Republican. That's part of his problem in this primary. He's like an old timey Jeb Bush conservative, right? He looks like a senator, right? Central casting in Donald Trump's words, but he's not a fire breather in any way, shape, or form. And that's sort of the problem. Dan W., who is a member of the Diamond Club. Dan, thank you. And I give you a the amount of things Trump puts out is mind-numbing. That's the strategy. That's why I like the mountains and molehills concept. Safe to say national elections in this crypto deal are mountains. I think his crypto stuff is a mountain. I don't think voters care about it. Like, I think it's a huge deal when we look back at his presidency. It's going to be a really big deal, the amount of graft and corruption in it. But I don't know that voters will vote on it. The nationalized election thing, I don't think is a mountain because I just think he said it and there's going to be no follow-up. It's not going to happen. States run elections. We are not changing the Constitution between now and November so that the election is federalized. I don't think the SAVE Act, the voter ID thing, is going to pass. Maybe it will. I don't think it's going to get 60 votes to end a filibuster. Could he pressure people at polling places with ICE and federal immigration officials like Steve Bannon suggested? Sure. I think that's not that likely, but it's possible. Could he try to confiscate ballots? Sure. Could he lean on Republicans in Congress not to validate the results? Sure. Again, all of these things could happen. I just don't think they are likely to happen. I hope that makes sense to people. Elijah Denton, a vote for Andy Beshear. So I did make a video on yesterday, about Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, who is the most popular Democratic governor in the country, even though he is the governor of a very Republican state, Kentucky. I just think people should talk about him more. I'm not sure he'll be the nominee. I'm not sure he has the charisma to be the nominee. He's probably more of a VP pick, but I think he is an interesting guy that Democrats should talk more about if you are trying to expand the battleground, expand what it means to be a Democrat, not just coastal. Andy Beshear is a voice they should listen to. Emil Sazanda. Hi, CMC. Happy Friday. I've heard rumors that Carrie Lake, the perennial loser of all sorts of Arizona elections, moving to Iowa to run for Joni Ernst's Senate seat. Thoughts on the primary in general? She is not. Look, Carrie Lake, I believe, was born in Iowa. So I don't think it's that weird that she bought a place there. She is not running for the Senate in 2026. Ashley Hinson will be the Republican nominee in Iowa and is probably the favorite to be the next senator. Could Carrie Lake at some point run for some office in Iowa? Sure, but it's not going to be in 2026. Brett Green. Hey, Chris, did you picture the Dem Senate race turning nasty this quickly? I follow the news daily and I still can't make heads or tails of it. Honestly, Brett, the primary's in less than a month. I thought it would be nastier. I mean, I know there's this back and forth with I made a video about this. James Tallarico, the state rep who's running for the nomination, saying a TikToker said that Tallarico told her that Colin Allred, who was the 2024 Senate nominee, was a mediocre black man. And Tallarico said, I didn't say that. I said he was a mediocre candidate, which, wicked burn, dude. And then Jasmine Crockett, who is running against Tallarico, kind of got involved, but she just defended Allred. She didn't really attack Tallarico. Like, I'm surprised it's not nastier, to be totally honest. I continue to think that and polling backs us up, that Jasmine Crockett is a weaker general election candidate against any of the Republican nominees than Tallarico is. We can debate why that's the case. I just think that is the case. By the way, we are at 350 plus people on this live stream. Awesome. Thank you. Love it. But hit that thumbs up button for me. We're at under 100 thumbs up. Let's see. Nutsack Jones, always a contrarian. There is no Dem wave. Your party is toast. Well, is that my party? I know I struggle to convince people of all these things. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not an activist. I'm not a partisan. I'm a journalist. As for there being a Dem wave, no, it's February. I don't think there's a Dem wave either. But I would say if you look at the things that can produce a significant nationalized election, message-wise, unpopular president, people feeling like he and the party is not addressing their concerns on things like the economy and costs and affordability, midterm historic election trends, all of those things suggest it's going to be a good election for Democrats. CR Stevens, I understand the protections that are put in place around state elections, but do you think Trump will try to put enough hijinks to shade things just a few points in areas where it's close? I mean, it's so hard for me to know. I don't know what that would look like. I mean, could he, again, as I said before, could he put some federal immigration enforcement officials around polling places to, in theory, intimidate people who might vote for Democrats? Yes. Will he do that? I don't think so. But I don't know. I rule nothing out with Trump, but I just think the whole, he's going to cancel the election. He literally can't cancel the election. They are state run. It's in the Constitution. Article 4, Section 1, the elections clause. Chris Tiki, will Latinos stay home or vote blue in 26 or 28? Good question. Latino voters, I think you got to be careful. It's a very broad sweep when you say Latino voters. Like Cubans vote different than Mexicans, who vote different than El Salvadorans, who vote different than Dominicans, right? Do I think Donald Trump did well among that group, broadly speaking, in 2024? Yes, especially Hispanic or Latino men. Do I think his numbers have fallen significantly since then? Yes. What does that mean? I don't know. Flash. There's so much talk about the corporate undermining of actual journalism, particularly with the recent downsizing of WAPO. Do you think journalists will end up uniformly replaced by online commentators? I don't think uniformly, no. I mean, look, I wrote about, if you want to check it out, it's free. I wrote about the Washington Post, where I worked for 10 years. I wrote about it over at my Substack. I hope you check it out. I decided to do a thing. I wrote about the 6 emotions I felt watching the Washington Post layoffs. They laid off 300 people out of an 800-person newsroom. So I don't think uniformly, like, legacy media is going to be replaced by online commentary and internet people. But I do think it's a big chunk. I think all the energy and interest now is around people who are independent for a lot of reasons. One is financial. It is easier to stand up something like I'm doing than it is to stand up the Washington Post. It is easier for me to say, hey, look, if you want to make a donation on Super Chat or become a member of the Diamond Club or Substack or whatever, it goes to me and what I'm doing. This is my home office. I bought this microphone thanks to donations from you all. Like, be like, okay, I like Chris. Like CNN, it's hard for CNN to be like a sympathetic, like, oh, I need to spend $10 supporting CNN. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just harder. They're not a sympathetic figure. It's like, oh, they made less money this year than they made last year. Now, the Washington Post lost $100 million last year. So, but still, I just don't think it's I don't think you replace legacy media with just independent journalists. I think it has to be a both and. Bo Britt, hey, Chris, what so far has your audience disagreed with most? The only thing I've disagreed with primarily is that Barry Weiss is significantly detrimental, I believe Barry Weiss is significantly detrimental to CBS News. Plenty of people, again, I am not pro or anti Barry Weiss. I am pro giving people who aren't old white men who have already failed, David Zaslav, running media companies, 500 chances. I'm pro giving other people a chance. Barry Weiss is just someone else. I want Jim Vandehei to have a chance to run a big media organization. He runs Axios right now. He founded Axios. He founded Politico. I'd like to see him run it. I think he's a very thoughtful guy. But I'm not pro or anti-Barry. But yes, some people say that I'm not hard enough on Barry. The thing that I think lost me the most subscribers, and I don't know if that means what the audience has disagreed with me most on, is that I waited a few days after the shooting of Renee Good, and I wasn't calling it assassination. That I think lost me the most people. But I was just trying to be honest. Again, my goal is not to make content that gets me subscribers. I obviously want to continue to grow subscribers, but I'm not going to just make boutique content that I know some people will like and subscribe to me, because I want to be able to retain the ability to be independent and authentic. So I want to be able to, if I have an opinion that I know the left isn't going to like, I want to be able to voice that. If I have an opinion that I know the MAGA crowd isn't going to be like, I want to be able to voice that, right? So anyway, all right, now I'm getting to, let's see, Ashish Drew, who is a member of the Diamond Club, says, hey, Chris, just emailed you. Can you check it out when you get a chance? Thanks. Yes, I will check it out after this. Let's see. Golf King 3447, who is a member of the Diamond Club, wanted to tell me I was muted. I mostly just wanted to do the bark. A lot of people telling me I'm muted. Yes. Okay. And we are through the muting and we are back to regular questions. Marquarius, thank you as always for supporting independent journalism via the super chat. Marquarius says, hey, Chris, loved your Andy Bashir video. I like Bashir Raphael Warnock 2028. Also, I think Allred and Crockett are working together to pull down James Tallarico's polling. Thoughts on the administration's view on the Second Amendment? So I should have noted, Colin Allred is running for Congress again. He came from Congress. He ran for the Senate against Cruz and lost. He's running for a seat again. He has endorsed Jasmine Crockett. I should have mentioned that. The administration's view on the Second Amendment. I don't think Donald Trump much cares about the Second Amendment. Like, in his heart of hearts, it's like abortion. He's not really pro-life. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the same way that I don't think he really cares about trans stuff either. I just think he knows it works for his base, so he does it. So him saying the whole thing about Alex Preddy having a gun and you can't bring a gun, and all the Second Amendment people being like diehard Second Amendment people being like, wait, what? Like he had a legal permit to carry it. I think it's just evidence that Trump doesn't care. It's not like it's going to change positions. I just think he doesn't really care, to be totally honest. Okay. Kyleton. Question: after 8.5 years of Trumpism, will America really go for Make America Boring Again candidate like Andy Beshear? So it's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. Some people would say that we tend to do that, right? So we had Nixon, and then we went to Carter. Whatever you think of Carter, he's not going to get in trouble, and we're not going to have Watergate. After Bill Clinton, we had George W. Bush. Like Clinton, whatever you thought of his presidency, like a little skeevy morally, George W. Bush, family man, etc. But then after George W. Bush, who was kind of like not seen as an intellectual titan, we had Barack Obama, who was really smart. You may not have liked him, but really smart. And then after Obama, we went to Trump, right? So these things do tend to go like pendulum. And if you believe that, then a Beshear isn't like totally out of the question. But I think it is uniquely possible that Donald Trump has just fundamentally changed politics, particularly presidential politics. That what people look for in presidential politics now and presidents isn't the same thing. And they want like a Democratic Trump. I think that's possible. Let's see. Jerry Bailey says, it's always great when you're muted. Yes, many people say that's when they like me the best. Merlina Rayan, how do you think the Clintons' testimony will go? Yes, so the Clintons, after saying that they were drawing a line in the sand and that they would not testify in front of the House Oversight Committee about Jeffrey Epstein 2 weeks ago, reversed course and said, well, actually, they will testify now. Well, I think it's going to be behind closed doors, and they're testifying separately. I think Hillary Clinton is one day and Bill Clinton is the next. Apparently, there's going to be a transcript released, which I will peruse. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm looking forward to finding out. Craigster, how long do we have to suffer with the worst person in the most important job? He is a terrible human being. Reiner and the meme today about the Obamas as gorillas or monkeys. Yeah, it's not great. He's Donald Trump. We used to usually we would elect presidents who I think people thought were the best of us, like broadly speaking, and not everyone thought that, but broadly speaking, he is not that. Let's see. Elaine Schellenberger, love your reporting. That is so nice. Thank you, Elaine. Michael Mendez says current events GOAT. Does that mean I'm the current events GOAT, or there is a current events GOAT out there that I need to know about? Brett Green, you look really good for your age, honestly. Come on. Bo Britt says this live stream is a highlight of my week. All right. Ben Woolman says, happy birthday. Welcome to the Club 50. All right, Ben, don't age me. I'm still 49. All right. I get 2 weeks until I'm 50. All right. But thank you for your welcome to the club. The Happy Birthday Club is my second favorite club. My first favorite club is the Diamond Club, which you should join. Thomas Davenport, who is a member of the Diamond Club. Chris, what do you think of the Nancy Guthrie case? Have you ever met Savannah? So sad, very worried most people don't survive if not recovered from a kidnapping in the first 48 hours. I mean, it's awful. Yes, I have met and know Savannah. So way back in the day, Savannah and Chuck Todd hosted, Savannah was based in DC then, they hosted a 9 a.m. like politics and legal show on MSNBC. And I would go on that show. She's a lovely person. I know her husband, Mike Feldman. They are good people. It's not like I'm in touch with Savannah every day or anything like that. Or I ping her once every year, maybe. She's busy, but it's awful. It's terrifying. And I really hope Nancy Guthrie is okay. And I take your point about, the stats don't bear that out, but I hope. Kevin Irving says, wait till you get to 60. Kevin, I'm hoping I get to 60. I can feel bad about being 60. At least I'd be 60. Dragonfire, did you see that Trump retweeted a racist Obama image? I did. It was on True Social. If you haven't seen it, it's the Lion King, and it's like the head of Michelle and Barack Obama on monkeys. Tim Scott, who is an African-American Republican senator, said this is the most racist thing I have seen out of the White House, which is interesting. He didn't say this is racist. He said this is the most racist thing I have seen. Suggests he's seen other racist things. Anyway, Trump took it down and said that he never actually saw it, and it was a staffer who posted it. But he did that. They took it down right before I got here. Harsh Bait, Harsh, thanks for your donation. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. Will the 2028 J.D. Vance run be the most disastrous major political campaign in recent history? I think so, as Stephen Miller as his VP nominee. I don't know. This talk about unpopular opinions that people don't like. I think J.D. Vance is among partisan Democrats way underrated. They hate him. They think he's a moron. Like all that stuff. I would not underestimate JD Vance. Don't let your personal feelings for him and his views get in the way of his ability to communicate with people, which I think are very different. Luke Amsden, thoughts on Mike Lee's SAVE Act and the drama that's been surrounding it. Does it get past the filibuster? Luke, I mentioned this right at the top. I don't think, for people who don't know, the SAVE Act is basically saying you have to have a voter ID to vote. There are 36 states right now that mandate some form of government ID to vote. 24 of those 36, you have to have a photo ID. In 12 of them, you just have to have any government ID. The other 14, you don't need an ID. I don't think it's going to pass because I don't think it's going to get 60 votes because Republicans have 53 votes, and I don't think they're getting 7 from Democrats. Evan Morgan. Hi, Chris. I'm a big fan, but the Epstein files caused me great concern when you said there's no clear evidence of wrongdoing for Trump in one of your videos this week. Seemed like a ball to a strike. Well, Evan, what is the clear evidence of wrongdoing? I mean, I know there was an allegation in the recently released Epstein files about Donald Trump and an underage girl, but the account is very shaky. Like, it's not clear that it's reliable. I mean, just because it's in the Epstein files doesn't mean it's true. I mean, what is true is we know for a fact Donald Trump was a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein. They might have been best friends. Donald Trump palled around with Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump was clearly aware that Jeffrey Epstein had a penchant for young women. Now, did he know that Jeffrey Epstein was sleeping with and sexually exploiting and sexually trafficking underage girls? I don't know how we would know that. I have not seen evidence of that. But please, I'm not trying to defend Trump. I'm trying to stick to what we know and can prove, like, legally. And I don't think that Donald Trump is like there's proof he did something wrong. But please, I mean, I'm happy to be wrong or corrected. Joaquin Varela, Chris, why do you think Trump and Republicans overestimated people's desire for mass deportations and underestimated their desire for lower costs when both issues are almost equal in 24? I don't think that's what they did. I actually think people do want people who are here illegally to be deported. I think the problem is the manner and tone in which the DHS, Border Patrol, and ICE was doing it. Does that focus on immigration overshadow the fact that they continue to need to be more focused on the economy and affordability? Yes, but I don't think they overestimated people's desire for mass deportations. I think they overestimated or didn't properly calculate the tone that was being set. And when you have 2 dead American citizens for protesting, bad sign. Folks, first of all, this is the biggest crowd we've had live in a really long time. 466 people. Awesome. Give me a thumbs up. We only got 170 of those. James Hayashi. What about the Nebraska Senate race? So in Nebraska, Pete Ricketts, former governor, heir to the Ameritrade fortune, is the U.S. Senator. He is running against an independent named Dan Osborne, who ran against Deb Fischer last time around and came within like 5 or 6 points of winning. I think Ricketts is stronger than Fischer politically. He's got unlimited money because of his family wealth. But 2026 looks like it's going to be a worse year for Republicans nationally than 2024 was by a significant amount. I don't know if Osborne gets there. I know he is one of a handful of independent candidates who are running. He's probably the most viable of all of them. I do think being competitive somewhere in the plains, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, is important for the Democratic Party, or sort of the non-Republican Party. I know they're running as independents. So I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on it. Matt Slick. Hi, Chris. During the run-up to the midterms, how do you think that the Republican Senate or Congress will try to explain their lack of action during the last 20 months? Go Orange. Go Orange. Syracuse has lost 5 games in a row. They'll say that they passed the one big beautiful bill. Right. And it's a sweeping piece of domestic legislation. So I don't think they will have a problem with that. The issue is, are people convinced that the one big beautiful bill is actually helping them in any meaningful way in their lives? That's a different question. Bill Reeve, Trump's racist tweet this morning seems to have shown that he is losing sense of what works in politics for him. What do you think? No, he always, whether or not he did it or someone in his office did it, and they're saying someone in his office did it, I feel like every 2 months, something comes out on Truth Social where that's like clearly racist. And they like either say it's not, or in this case, they walk it back, but I don't think it's anything new. Emmett Jones, is the newspaper and national news so bad journalists now got to have a podcast to report the news? No, but I mean, I think like you've got to think of alternate ways to reach people. I mean, I like doing this. I think people in legacy media should do this kind of thing more, just interact with people like directly. I think the legacy media model generally is broken. Yeah. But I think there are lots of ways to reach people. But you got to be innovative. You got to try stuff and you got to be afraid not to fail. You can't be afraid to fail because then you'll never swing at pitches and you got to swing at pitches. Google Plus pages. Yo, Tim Scott, you're a little late to the party, brother, but welcome to the resistance. Lee Munsell, the best. Lee was my editor at CNN. Good people. She runs something called the San Antonio Report. If you care about Texas politics and particularly San Antonio, go check it out. San Antonio Report, nonprofit newsroom. Lee says, what's your takeaway from the remnant victory in the Texas special election? Bigger blue wave in November than we thought. So for people who are not familiar, on Saturday, the Democratic candidate for an open special election in the state Senate won by 14 points in a Fort Worth area district that Donald Trump had won by 17 points in 2024. So a 31-point swing from 2024 to this past week. Yeah, Lee, I mean, to me, what it says is it was low turnout. The weather in Texas in that area wasn't great on Saturday, but it's a Saturday election. But Democratic enthusiasm high, Republican enthusiasm low. When you see that, particularly in a midterm election where turnout isn't going to be as high as a presidential, that would worry me a lot if I was a Democrat. Go check out San Antonio Report. Lee Munsell is great people. Richards, have you thought about expanding your publication and having multiple journalists join you? I think with your experience, you can create a profitable platform. I have. So I'm thinking about doing that on Substack. Maybe I should think about doing it on YouTube as well. The issue is I don't have a ton of money just lying around to give to people to help me broaden this out. I'm thinking of creative partnerships and that sort of thing. If you have ideas, if you have people, and again, what I'm looking for is people who are independent journalists who are calling balls and strikes. Not always Republicans are good, not always Democrats are bad, or vice versa. Shoot me an email, cillizzac@gmail.com. Jerry Bailey, I assume not the jockey Jerry Bailey. With all the material the Democrats have to work with, which issue or statement of Trump's do you think would be the best for Democrats to magnify? Simple. I assume you're talking about 2026. Donald Trump said in 2024, and I'm sure there are clips of it, that he was going to bring down inflation and make things more affordable. Has he done it? And the answer is, at least as of today, the vast majority of the American public thinks he has not. Stay focused. If you're a Democrat, don't get distracted by the Trump Archie's building or the Gulf of America or the Trump Kennedy Center. Stay focused. People care about affording things. They care about their grocery prices. They care about rent. They care about their house. They care about their car payment. They care about inflation writ large. Like, are things costing more? Stay focused. By the way, I'm just trying to go for people who have not asked questions. Jameson Colley, thoughts on the new Virginia House map, implications on the midterm. So I just saw the proposed map. It's a 10-1 Democratic map. We'll see. I would worry a little bit. I saw that they are splitting Fairfax County into 5 districts. Fairfax County, where I live, giant Democratic county, broadly speaking. They're trying to put a bunch of Democratic voters in all these different districts to make those districts winnable. Could be a little bit of an overreach. But Jameson, I don't know enough about the map because I literally just saw it. Let's see. Go Ket. I know you've worked with them, but what do you think of DDHQ retracting their call in last night's New Jersey election? Black swan event or lesson in patience? Total black swan event. I saw that. So they called the race for Tom Malinowski. This is the New Jersey special election to replace Mikey Sherrill, who is now the governor, very Democratic district. They called it for Tom Malinowski, former member of Congress, and then retracted that. They explained why in a long tweet. They're the best in the business. Their numbers are the best. They are fast and accurate. What happened was like a mix-up about absentee ballots. And so I think Malinowski, he's now behind by about 486 votes to the like most progressive candidate in the race, most liberal, but it's a black swan. They are the best. They will not, I trust them implicitly. I love what they do. Okay. Dave, the man wants me to, he has typed about 50 times Newsom 2028. Okay. Noted. Rampaging Pickle, who is a member of the Diamond Club, says, I'm really tired of the Newsom boosting. So it's a back and forth between Dave and Rampaging Pickle. Nicholas Delott, do you think Trump's racist video of the Obamas he posted will make any kind of difference, or is the nation just too used to his outward in-your-face racism? No, it will not make a difference. It will be a bad news story, and then people will forget about it. We can debate whether it should be or not, but that's the reality. Robert Curtis, I'm on the AOC 2028 train now. Before I was on Team Newsom, but I think AOC is the better choice. Look, I put my rankings out earlier this week on Substack. You can read them. I will spoil it a little for you. Newsom is number 1. AOC is number 2. Go check them out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Lou, love your work. Curious how you determine a successful politician. Is it how often they get laws, bills passed for their party, work across the aisle to benefit the population they serve, or other factors? It's definitely not how many laws or bills they get passed, Lou, because that's sort of a crapshoot. Like, is your name on the final bill? Is your party in the majority or the minority? To me, a successful politician is someone who sticks as close to what they actually believe as possible and continues to rise up the ranks. I think you can be a successful member of the House, but like, I'm drawn to people who run for president, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Let's see. Ben Woolman says, I think the midterms are going to be too big to rig for Trump. May well be the case. Robert Beckett, where do you think the Epstein scandal is going? Can Trump keep it under control? No, but no, he can't keep it under control. I mean, they can slow walk the release of things. They can release things at weird times, all that stuff. But no, I think a bunch of this stuff is going to come out. Again, I continue to think that there is not a smoking gun that is going to show that Donald Trump was either engaging in the sexual exploitation or trafficking of young women and girls or knew about it. Like, I just don't think there's going to be an email or an interview that says that. But I know there are some Democrats who think that. Asif Chowdhury, Whitmer is the dark horse that might be a surprise candidate. I agree. She had Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, had a really bad 2025, but she just started a Substack and she's clearly starting to ramp up again. And I think she wants to run in 2028. I think this year's going to be a little bit of a litmus test. So that I keep an eye on her. She is absolutely in my rankings, which again, you can find over at my Substack, the top 10 people. User JK, I see you can, Chris, can you talk about if Trump will ever face consequences for his crimes? He has to be convicted of things. I mean, like, I know people say he's a criminal, whatever, but he's not been convicted of these things. I know he's been, well, that's not true. He's been indicted 4 times by grand juries. But no, I don't think he's going to go. If your question is he going to jail? No, I don't think he's going to go to jail. Zachary Logan, what's your perspective on Trump posting a picture depicting the Obama as apes? It's gross. It's racist. It's totally unacceptable. And I don't think it will move numbers. I know people will be frustrated at that. I'm just telling you my honest opinion. Let's see. Stop spamming the chat. I answered your question. You've asked like 50 times the same question. Asif Chowdhury, the Dems can't be too careful. I think you mentioned this on Julie Mason the other day, and I was listening, Chris. Love Julie Mason. I'm going to try and do more on SiriusXM with her. Fiddleminger, some people say Chuck Schumer is running for president in 2028. Who says that? No, he is not. Disembodied Screams, turned 50 and finally made it to Key West. Great option. Do you think we will ever have a third party, and how would it get started? We might. It has to start from the grassroots level. Third parties make the mistake of starting at the presidential level. No, you got to start state house, state rep, city council, state senate, local, then build a roster of candidates and people, and then move up rather than start at the presidential level. I mean, it makes no sense. It's like I'd like to start playing tennis. Okay, I want to play Yannick Sinner. I want to play Carlos Alcaraz. No, like, you start at like a local level and get better. It just doesn't make sense. Voltaire, I'm glad you always respond to my comments on YouTube. Thank you, you silly goose. I do what I can. Nathan CLK, we need moderators in the chat. Yeah, I've thought about that. Usually it's pretty good, but man, this isn't great right now. Media repository, wildcard scenario. What do you think would be the implications of a Jon Stewart versus Tucker Carlson 2028 matchup in the American political climate? I mean, if those two wound up being the nominees, it would suggest we have totally and completely celebrified the process of picking nominees. David McLaughlin, I've asked on social media before, but what is your opinion of state newsroom and their online media sources in nearly all 50 states? Pro. We need more of it. Albert Lemos, thank you for supporting independent journalism, my friend. Albert says, thoughts on the current state of the Georgia governor and Senate race. Senate race, not great for Republicans. If I'm John Ossoff, the incumbent Democratic senator, I am thrilled at where I am right now. No guarantees. Georgia's a swing state, but man, I have to be happy. The governor's race, kind of weird. You've got the attorney general, the lieutenant governor, the secretary of state, Brad Raffensperger, and now you got this rich guy who says he's going to spend $50 million on the campaign. So I think that one's way more up in the air. Democratic field is not good, candidly, on the Georgia governor side. But yeah, that's going to be a really interesting race. Let's see. C-Mac-Gusa. If you're going to spam a question in chat, at least be a good question, but it makes sense considering the type of person it's coming from. Yeah, stop spamming. Margaret Bongenry, your writing is so funny and insightful. Thanks, Margaret. Let's see. Dragonfire. It was a staffer, the retweet in the middle of the night. Does he keep a staffer in on 3 a.m.? That's just what they said, that on Truth Social, he retruthed. It was retruthed by someone who was not him. My Senyo, do you think Tony Kornheiser will ever join this live stream? Not in a zillion years. Love Mr. Tony, though. I'm going to be on that show next week. Sizzle Pants. JD Vance wants more power. Plus, he speaks with greater than 5th grade vocabulary. Also true. Brett Green points out allegations are not evidence. I assume you're talking about the Epstein files. Voltaire says, L take Chris. You're not going to agree with me on everything. That's just how it works. Emmett Jones, Tom Massey and a Democrat need to run on a no labels party. Here's the thing. Tom Massey's very conservative. He just doesn't agree with Donald Trump on everything but he's not like a liberal. It would be a very weird thing to have him on a no labels party, but maybe. Mo Coffee, hi Chris, I too am authentic and independent. There we go. Sentient Guitar, thoughts on Ron Wyden's open letter to CI Director John Ratcliffe. I didn't see it. Send it to me. Cillizza@gmail.com. I'll check it out. Zyphon White, 100% don't think Trump actually did anything, but he definitely knew. Dragonfire, so you stick to stuff that can be proven in a court of law. When it comes to legal stuff, yes, I try to. Danny, Chris, I'm a fan from Europe. Do you think Democrats can make Florida and Kansas Senate races competitive in the next months? Florida is more doable probably than Kansas. They have Alexander Vindman there who will raise a bunch of money in Florida. Has to be a really good Democratic year for Florida or Kansas, I think, to be super, super competitive. Let's see. Oh man, we got lots of fighting in this, in the chat. I like this. TDAV707, sea salt brownie, vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, and all in the microwave. Treat yourself. You look better than I do at 45. Thanks for answering my question and have a happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. See, I'm just trying to weed out. Let's see. Fiddle Minger, please direct me to credible media outlets in Colorado. Go search my name and best state-based political reporters or best state reporters. I just like a month and a half or 2 months ago put out a full list, 50 states, including Colorado, with like 7 or 8 links of people to follow. So check that out. Let's see. John Rowland, not that John Rowland, the former disgraced governor of Connecticut, but a member of the Diamond Club. I never miss your videos and find you the best on the internet. Wow. You think a dark horse like Jimmy Carter, I will never lie to you, will win with that message in 28? Could, but dark horses are harder now than they were in 1976. Do you know what I mean? Like I just think there aren't that many dark horses anymore. I would say if you want a dark horse, Ruben Gallego, the senator from Arizona, I'm interested in him. Dustman 3400, who is a member of the Diamond Club. Do you think politicians are going to start supporting nuclear power? Conservatives usually support it, but environmentalists are split. I don't know. I mean, Trump loves to talk about nuclear power. He's like the nuclear. So maybe, but I don't honestly know. It's a good question. Obi-Wan Skywalker. Does Steve Hilton actually have a chance to be the California governor? Has there been a person that elected office that worked for two different foreign governments like him? I don't think he ultimately does. I know that the polling right now, because the Democratic candidates aren't very well known, the polling has Steve Hilton at the top of the heap, but he has like 19%. My guess is there'll be one Democrat and Steve Hilton, and then in the primary, in the all-party primary, and then they'll go to the general election, and because it's California, the Democrat will win. Doug H, formerly Doe, hugely thank you for your kind donation. Doug says, no question, been a few weeks since tuning in. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate it. Let me just see if there's anyone else out there. The Gen Exit Project. Chris, in the YouTube producer screen, you can put spamming users in timeout for various times or block them. Okay, I will try to do that. Brian Nguyen. I don't think there's a comprehensive and clear explanation for why grocery prices are so high. Are food companies just going to keep prices high because they can? A pack of gum costs $4. This is the problem. If you run for president and say, I'm going to lower grocery prices, it's really hard to do because you don't control all that stuff, right? You can't tell grocery manufacturers to do lower prices. So, I mean, yeah. JVB says, please tell us more about that typewriter behind you. Thank you. That was my wife's grandfather's. He did use it when my kids were little. They broke it by banging on the things. I may go get it fixed. I have never actually used it. Connie Griner, who is a member of the Diamond Club. Have you been following the Buddhist monks walk for peace? A bit of light and so much darkness. I haven't, but I will. Thanks, Connie. Albert Lemos. Did you end up watching the movie Sinners or any of the other Oscar-nominated films? Albert, thank you for your donation. No, I haven't, but I do have a list, and Sinners is on it, and I'm going to try and get to it before the Oscars, unless the Oscars are this weekend, in which case I will not get to it before the Oscars. Let's see. Keith Quist, thoughts on whether Glenn Youngkin will run in 28 for president? What would you say are his chances in the GOP primary? I think he might run. 10% chance. I just don't think that kind of like business guy conservative is going to sell against JD Vance, but who the hell knows? Maybe JD Vance blows up. EMA7768. You always say Donald Trump is not a dictator, but damn, he really is making a weak effort not to look like one. Will he be? Which will be the 3 or 4 traits that will make you say, yep, he turned out to be one? I think Donald Trump has dictatorial and authoritarian impulses. I'm not going to judge whether he's a dictator or not, but I will say, I think the system that is in place in America keeps him from indulging his worst instincts. Oh, okay. The Barry Riley tells me the Oscars aren't until March 15th. I've got plenty of time. Let's see. ASLB17, who is a member of the Diamond Club. Repeating my question, what do you think about Nancy Mace? Is she crazy for real or is it an act? What are her governor's prospects? Go read the New York Magazine piece called Nancy Mace is Not Okay by Jake LaHutte. It gave me real pause about if she is mentally okay. She could be governor, regardless of what the answer to that first question is. Patrick Murray, great stream, Chris. Thanks for always doing these. Always 400 plus people on the most of this stream. Do me a favor. If you can, send me a note if you want more live streams, even if it's like a 30-minute that I do like on a Monday or a Wednesday. Tell me, cillizza@gmail.com. Because I'm really weighing that. Do you think that's the kind of thing that would be useful? Do you think it would drive subscriptions? Do you know, what do you think? One other favor, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Again, if you are not a member of the Diamond Club, my subscription tier, paid subscription tier on YouTube, become one right now and you will get the video I'm going to make as soon as I end this stream on who had the worst week in Washington. That's one of 2 videos. I guarantee you, if you're a member of the Diamond Club, you will get every single week. In addition to all the other videos I make, you'll get a worst week in Washington pick video. And you also get my weekly live video podcast with Chuck Todd. So check it out. Go to the membership tab. And if you want more live streams, send me a note, cillizza@gmail.com. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. It's going to be very cold in DC this weekend. Stay safe. Be well. Oh, I just got one last super chat. Let me answer that because I don't want someone to donate and not get their question answered. Manfred Maurer, thank you for supporting independent journalism. What would you recommend to us in Europe? Give up on America as a trusted ally for decades that you guys were, or dig in for 3 years and hope we can build trust afterwards? It's not going to change for the next 3 years. I wouldn't give up entirely. Manfred, take care of yourself. Everybody be well. And remember, 2 weeks from today, this guy turns 50. So start sending your presents in now. All right, everyone, take good care. Be well.